26 UEFA Champions League Round 16 draw has been completed. Oh my God, do we have some juicy ties in this round, right? First of all, one of the things that I'm going to say is, UEFA, what are you thinking? Why do you have one side of the bracket completely filled up with some of the biggest and the best teams in the world, and the other side of the bracket is looking like, But yeah, we're going to break it down. UEFA, I see you. But yeah, let's start with one side of the bracket is filled with teams that literally won since 2016. Think about that. The side of PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool, Galatasaray, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Atalanta, Bayern Munich. From 2016, the winners of Champions League from 2016 are all in that draw. Think about that. UEFA, what's up? And the other side of the draw is Barcelona, Newcastle, Atletico Madrid, Tottenham, Bodo Glimt, Sporting, Leverkusen, Arsenal. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be, if everything falls right, if everything falls the way it's supposed to fall, this is looking like it's going to be a Arsenal-Barcelona semi-finals. Which in and of itself is that's great. As a Barcelona fan, that's great. That's fantastic. But as a football fan, it's like, yo, you could have sprinkled in some of those big teams on the other side of the bracket. But let's break it down. That's what we're here for. Dammy's Football World. That's all we do. We break it down. So let's start with the rematch, revenge game of the Club World Cup from last summer. PSG versus Chelsea. Chelsea caught one out of the light. Like, it was no one that was watching football this summer during the Club World Cup thought to themselves Chelsea was going to beat PSG in that finals. PSG was on fire. PSG was dismantling everyone. The Luis Enrique system was at its peak level. But now, injuries have happened to PSG. Ousmane Dembele is not playing as much as he did last season. Injuries are affecting him, which that's normal. That is absolutely normal. Anyone that have followed Ousmane Dembele's career, you know that's absolutely normal. There's nothing you're going to do about that, right? But Chelsea also is going through their own. They just changed their coach. Their coach, though, Liam Rosen, he's very good, but it almost seems like Chelsea, they lose games they're supposed to win. They win games they're supposed to lose, which is weird when you think about it. Desiree Doué in the last round for PSG was absolutely phenomenal for them. Is he going to replicate the same energy against Chelsea? PSG has something to prove, right? Everyone was talking about how, oh my God, Chelsea, that's the Club World Cup. It don't really matter. Now we're playing the game that matters. Let's see. Let's move to the next game. Galatasaray, Liverpool. As a Nigerian fan, do I want Galatasaray to win? Yes. Do I think Galatasaray is going to win? So let me not do too much. Now, Victor Osimhen might be a factor in that defensive line because of the pairing of Van Dijk and Konate. He might be able to cause some trouble. And if you remember, when we found out this season that Liverpool was in trouble was when they went to Galatasaray and Galatasaray beat them 1-0. And it looked like, yo, what's going on? Liverpool probably coming back for revenge also. Hopefully Florian Wirtz is back by then, and it could be like a complete game. Liverpool has something to prove, right? They know they're not winning the league, so they might be willing to go all in for the Champions League, right? But I see Liverpool going through there. Now to the big of the big of the big of the big. Let's go! Real Madrid, Manchester City. Pep versus Abeloa. Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Jeremy Doku. Oh, want to doke him. Want to doke him. This draw, I wanted. This draw, I've been asking for. I wanted to see Manchester City against Real Madrid, and the sole purpose of why I wanted to see it, hopefully Jeremy Doku is fully fit, because I need Jeremy Doku to do. Go shaking in TA. Go shaking in go shaking in right? They've played for the past 5 seasons now in the Champions League. Manchester City has played Real Madrid, and there's a stats that's floating around that Antonio Rudiger has played Manchester City in Real Madrid jersey more than he played Manchester City when he was playing for Chelsea, which wild. But in this game, this is going to be a tight one. But I'm going to go with Manchester City because there's no way I'm going to ever pick Real Madrid. But if Real Madrid qualify, I can see that happening also because Manchester City is not really strong defensively. And that Madrid team, they could catch a lightning out of a box. And Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, James Rodrigo, all of them, they could hit their stride and they know how to play Champions League football. That's one thing we have to give them credit for. So I will go with Manchester City, but I won't be surprised if Real Madrid wins this game. Both legs. Atalanta, Bayern Munich. What is there to say? Come on. Bayern Munich is going to on my shebef. On my boy dear, on my she dear attack, on my dala tagidi, on my nogidi. Yeah, there's no need to talk about that. Right? So let's talk about Newcastle on the other side of the bracket. Newcastle versus Barcelona. Barcelona played Newcastle in the St. James Park. Marcus Rashford, 2 goals. That game, Newcastle could have won. Newcastle had a lot of opportunities created, shot on goal. Newcastle had more. Clear-cut, clean opportunities to score more goals. Newcastle was able to, they had it easily. They were able to, I would say Newcastle was probably this season the first team that kind of dismantled that high line that Barcelona likes to play. They completely showed all its weaknesses, right? Throw the ball to the flanks, run at the ball, cross the ball in, and see what happens. And Newcastle was able to do that to the best of their ability. They just didn't have the class, the level of players that convert opportunities, that don't need 4, 5, 6 opportunities to score goals. And now they have, I think his name is Jordan or something. The guy, he's scoring at a high level. But do I think Barcelona should qualify 2 legs against Newcastle? You bet yes, I do. I absolutely do think Barcelona is going to beat Newcastle, no matter what, right? Yes, we go to St. James Park at the beginning, but you come to Camp Nou, Newcastle don't know what they're in for. That first leg, if we win that first leg, is over. And I think Barcelona is actually going to win that first leg. I predict that happening. But all right, so Atletico Madrid against Tottenham. This one, I will say Atletico Madrid. The only reason why I'm not necessarily sure of Atletico Madrid in this instance is because Atletico Madrid with Diego Simeone, sometimes he gets it wrong. Right? Sometimes Diego Simeone gets his tactics wrong and he retrieves too fast for me. My only skepticism in this game is Diego Simeone, because on a normal circumstances, Atletico Madrid, Tottenham will let Atletico Madrid play now. The talent disparity is huge. But then you know about the whole England versus Spain throughout this season. English team have completely trounced Spanish teams. So I don't know if that trend is going to continue. But yeah, that's true. We have two English versus Spanish teams here. Bodo Glimt versus Sporting. Bodo Glimt gives me that Cinderella vibes of FC Porto back in the Jose Mourinho era. Now, do I have the guts to say Bodo Glimt is going to win the Champions League, especially in this era that we're in right now? No. But one of the things that work for Bodo Glimt is the artificial field they have on their home turf, and the fact that they're still on, I think they're still in their off season. So their players get to rest and actually just prepare for that one game. For those two games, I don't know if they will be back by the time the season resumes, but I predict Bodo Glimt qualifying because I feel like they're going to beat Sporting. Bayer Leverkusen, Arsenal. It's like the same as Bayern Munich, Atalanta. What is there to talk about here? Arsenal should completely whoop Bayer Leverkusen. So that takes us to Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid, Bodo Glimt versus Arsenal, PSG versus Liverpool, Man City versus Bayern Munich. I don't know. Let's start with the easiest part of the draw. Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. Barcelona has a track record of beating Atletico Madrid. And I think in the Champions League, Atletico Madrid don't perform that well in the Champions League. I could see Barcelona beating them. But that high line, man. That high line to me is that high line scares me. Barcelona high line scares me. It scares me. But Arsenal, Bodo Glimt, as much as that Cinderella vibes that Bodo Glimt gives me, Arsenal is too strong of a team. If they beat Arsenal, then we are all in trouble. Because Arsenal is just, one of the things that drives me crazy about Arsenal is how they don't know how to, it almost seems like Arteta hasn't figured out a system that works to help create opportunities. Open play opportunities is almost like Arsenal finds it difficult to create, which is weird. They have too many talented attacking players for them to have issues having open play opportunities. Their strikers should be scoring a lot more. There's too many attacking talents in that Arsenal football club.